pick this question, which is put up by Nishant, and it's something that we also saw from our registrants. So the next thing that I want to understand from you is on the lines of culture first hiring. Now, Forbes published a very recent article. When I was looking around and trying to understand some of the works published around blitzscaling tech hiring at companies. I saw an article by Forbes which said that culture first hiring is the number one problem that companies come across. And at the same time, I came across another blog which said that one should not focus on culture first hiring for a bunch of reasons. It was apparently an HBR blog or so. Now, first of all, are you an advocate for hiring based on culture or value? And what do you think is something that works in terms of hiring a culture first hiring approach in the scene of a skewed supply demand where talent is scarce but the hiring demands are higher than that?
Well, I really don't think it's a two-brainer question, because you cannot think of compromising culture over skill set alone. Because, like I said, you would have your first 10 engineers or 20 or 50 engineers who will solve the problem for you initially and get to a validated proof of concept and get a business problem going on, right? Or a business option going on. But it is the growth and it is the sustainability of the scaled up growth which allows you to then compete in a very, very fierceful competitive market. So whether you become a Flipkart competing with an Amazon, or you become a Ola competing with the likes of Uber in India especially, and we, like for example Meesho, we are competing with, fortunately for us, we've had a very great tailwind. So we kind of had a great last 2 years to grow by, and we believe that it'll take some time for our competitors to scale up. But we believe that culture is what differentiates us, and that you cannot compromise. So while you want to hire the best of engineers, you want to make sure that they know how to hire and grow good talent, that they can stand up and speak their mind, that they do have a bias for action, that they do believe in respecting others, they understand what the business is all about, and they are able to scale up, right? And all of this only comes in when you really assess people on the culture points. So we in Misho, whether it is an engineering or a product hiring, or whether it is a business hiring, we make sure that each person is assessed for culture, and that happens either through the business themselves or through collaborative businesses. We do check whether the person has the right stakeholder management capability, whether the person is respectful of each other or not. So these are, and if the cultures don't match, the capability can be 100 out of 100, and it still wouldn't cut ice with us, right? So yes, you do want the best talent. You do want uh, people who will be able to solve problems for you, and our problem first mindset as well. But at the same time, the people part of it, or the culture part of it, or the values that we call as, has to be ingrained in them. And if that is not visible, or that is not demonstrated enough during either the interviewing or assessment pieces, then we don't proceed with such candidates.
Okay, and is this something that is typically looked at upon? I mean, is it something that the TA functions focus on, or you also, educate your engineering counterparts that yes, they should focus on culture first hiring? How is it implemented?
Yes. So in the last year or so, in the last year and a half or so, at Meesho, we have run a series of engagements, and we continue to do that, because we've also grown in like 4 times the scale that we were about a year back. So the virtual scale up, like others have been saying, has happened to us in the last year plus, and therefore it's been a conscious effort from us to skill up all our interviewers to have the right conversation. Uh, it has been a conscious thinking from our point of view to have the right candidate experience in place. And while we do this, we make sure that we do assess people on all the value front as well. In fact, as a practice since the last year, culture forms a big part of our assessment practice, even for internal employees. So the internal growth of employees is also dependent upon how well they demonstrate and how well they exhibit these cultural or values nuances of ours.
Okay, that's, and you said that you have done but a bunch of these internal engagements. So these are around training your internal team members, hiring managers around how they can go about this, or what is it exactly about? If you could.
Yeah,
That is,
so today, fortunately, your recruiting processes enable you to get real-time data around how interviewing practices are are measured. So, for example, we get to know which interviewer has had what sort of a conversation with which candidate, which part of our businesses have had value, a greater bit of a conversations part and stuff. So we, at the end of the day, and actually we do track it on a monthly basis, where we figure out, if there are certain interventions that are required for different parts of the businesses to better some of these engagements. Yeah. So the quality of hiring, like I said, talent density becomes the most important part for us. And in talent density, the two parts, which is one is to hire the right people, and number two is to retain the right people. So in the hire the right people part of it, it becomes very important for us to engage the right way, right? And we keep figuring out the levers that we have to make this happen.